Durant-Westbrook feud, good for the league?
No, I think it has zero impact on the league. It was something we anticipated, and it's been pretty mundane, in my opinion, that OKC and Kevin Durant have won. If it was a feud, it was a landslide the other way, and it's kind of boring now. Listen, Kevin Durant is a hugger, not a thugger. He's hug life. And I'm seriously, I'm starting to respect. At least he's consistent. He's certainly proven with his play on the court that it was a good decision for him. Again, everybody knows where I started. Strong Westbrook. I'm starting to drift the other way. I think he makes a somewhat reasonable point. The media didn't create the feud. He left, Westbrook was upset, OKC was upset, but the media is trying to amplify the feud. I think he makes a fair point.
You know, college basketball about 15 years ago, I knew it was in trouble. Because when I was growing up, you talked about Phi Slamma Jamma or the Hoyas or Ralph Sampson's Virginia Cavaliers.
Colin, quit lying. You were talking about Lou Alcindor.
But we talked about teams.
Trying to date him, huh?
We talked about teams, the running Rebels. And then over the last 15 years, I noticed I was just talking about coaches because the teams aren't interesting. There's a problem in the NBA. We just now, you know what our comments are about? What the latest Charles Barkley tirade was on. We're not talking about the games right now. We're not talking about the games because
they don't matter till June.
And we know who's going to be in the final. Like, to me, this is conflict, but I used to talk about teams.
And games. Yeah, well, this game.
In college basketball, Dick Vitale for a 10-year period was bigger than any player. Yeah. Right now, Barkley's bigger than virtually any team not with LeBron or the Warriors. I think this conflict is what the league's become. It needs this. It's a conflict. LeBron's more interesting after his moves. If he'd have never left Cleveland, it's not as interesting.
I don't think you need this conflict. I mean, when has black-on-black crime ever been a good thing? Really, and that's what we're talking about right now. When is that a good thing? You have an opportunity for two players that are elite players to be viewed as such. You decided to go your separate ways. That's a part of the game. I understand if you want to have a feud, my team versus your team. Hate's a good thing when it comes in sport. Right. Hate's a very good thing. You love your colors, you hate the other team's colors. From a fan standpoint, from a player standpoint, from an individual standpoint, Magic didn't hate Bird. He wanted to beat the Celtics.
They were at odds, though, for a while.
But what happened? That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, the Bad Boys Pistons, they wanted to beat everyone else. They didn't hate every individual on the court. And that's right now and I think some of this is being done by the media, where you're trying to make these two guys hate one another. The issue was that Kevin Durant was the alpha on that team for a while, and then Westbrook came along. Westbrook became the alpha in that locker room. Kevin has moved on. And now we're trying to create something. Westbrook is, like I said, he's an alpha dog. If you corner him, he's going to say something.
I think Westbrook can, listen, as somebody that's divorced, I've thought a lot about divorce in my life. Whenever people get divorced, like the 49ers and Harbaugh, a year later, go back and look who's doing better. The Niners are a mess, Harbaugh's flourishing. When I look at this Westbrook-KD divorce, one guy's more unhinged, Westbrook. The other guy seems really content and happy. He likes his new family. I don't think it looks great for Westbrook.
But look, Westbrook, first, the media didn't create this. As you said, look, Westbrook really did troll Durant on Instagram with a picture of cupcakes. He really did wear the photographer's vest. They really haven't talked.
But do you think some of that happened because of the way the initial question was presented to him?
No. I mean,
none of it?
I'll give Durant this. He could be right on that point. Just because he says my guys here are unselfish doesn't necessarily mean he thinks the guys in the Thunder are selfish.
Agreed.
So I agree with that. But the feud is real. He texted, we've been together 8 years. I'm texting you that we're getting divorced. That's not going to sit well with Westbrook.
Right.
And they haven't spoken since then.
And
so that's real. The problem is the Thunder aren't good enough. That's the problem. Like, it's a nice little storyline for Saturday night when they play. Oh, that's great. They don't like each other. But they're not good enough to make this real.
How often do you talk to people now as opposed to texting them? That's what everyone does
know.
now.
I'm not
I text
sure
my mom and
Westbrook
dad
texted
now.
back.
My mom texts me. She doesn't even call me anymore. My mom texts me. So for him to text
But
him,
this was a major announcement.
Major
I'm going to
announcement.
pick up some bread at the store.
But major announcements, my mom will still text. That's what happens now. That's how you communicate. I don't think that is bad as
Feel
him
bad
not
for you
saying.
And your family,
That's
actually.
no. Don't.
Why haven't they talked?
I'm joking.
Why haven't they talked?